Welcome to the 154th episode of the Sawdust Nation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nick from NPG Creations. Here with me tonight, we have Josh from North Country Woodworking and Nat from Nat's Naughty Works LLC. So, we got a real barn burner going on for you. Anyway, so let's start it off with Nap's shop.
Yeah. Anyways, so shop is ever busy. I can tell you today was one of those days where I looked at a customer and I said, "Are you kidding me?"
You said that to him?
Ooh, do tell.
Well, I know this person. First and foremost, I wouldn't tell an actual customer like, "Are you kidding me?" Like in like a kind of condescending tone. But so there is a group commander leaving, okay, and they ordered a gift for this person, not for me. They just ordered it was a random gift from some place. It wasn't like woodworking or nothing. It was just something you get off a website.
Let me guess. It broke and you had to fix it.
No. So it's not going to show up on time. So they're looking for a refund from them. And you'll never guess. They go, now, mind you, the customer that asked me was not initially going to come to me because she knew that I was busy already. But we'll just say two other individuals who know I make things go, "Oh, yeah, we could just have Nat make something." And I'm like, you mother. Because they know I make stuff and I make nice things. And luckily, this isn't going to be like too involved. Well, it is a little bit because I have to strip. I got to strip a coat of what's called SFD or solid film. It's like a gray spray paint kind of. I got to strip it. What's going on, Sam? I got to go ahead and strip that off. I'm trying to figure out what a faster way is than what I did last time. I mean, don't get me wrong. The stuff I used, it like melted the stuff off. It came off pretty easy, but I don't want to take the whole thing apart and take it back to work to have it put back together again. And we only took like 5 minutes for them because they're like SMEs on it, and I know nothing of the equipment. So I was like, how do I put the square one in the circle one? That's kind of how I looked to try to put it together the first time. So, but I have that job now. That's due next week. And I kind of looked at her and I said, "You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me." Because you know I'm busy. I'm doing the release party mementos that are due Friday for the Master Sergeants that just made rank. And that's pretty cool because, mind you, I'm only doing them for, and I'll say I'm doing $20 a piece for things like, but they're oak. Okay, they're oak and they're like 8 inches tall, man. I'm literally using the width of a normal board that I have, and I'm not really doing anything extra. I'm just cutting shapes out.
With the laser?
Not a big deal.
Or with the CNC?
CNC for the shape, laser for the stuff that's going on it. And then a simple round over with lacquer because that stuff dries super fast. So it's not much involved. My actual work time on them is like, shoot, I think I spent maybe 20 minutes total of actual work. The longest part is the laser, naturally.
How many are you doing?
29 as of now.
Nice.
Which isn't bad, you know. But that's also with the promise that I'm going to get the induction job. So I'm also doing the induction when that comes around, which is in July. So realistically, it was more of an investment. Like, hey, I'll do these mementos for you for this, but you got to give me this. It's kind of one of those
Did
deals.
they tell you what their budget was for the induction?
The induction's going to be a little bit more. It comes from a different pot of money. So I already kind of know what I'm going to charge. They already know. But no, so it'll be something close to what we did, Nick, in Texas.
Yeah.
But it'll be a North Dakota, a little bit easier shape to put something like the charge on.
North Dakota is a rectangle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real easy. Like, it ain't going to be nothing. I could probably cut rectangular pieces of wood and say, yeah, look, it's North Dakota.
It's
like,
North
don't worry
Dakota,
about it.
baby. There we go.
But yeah, so I should have that job, luckily, because when I showed them the sample or the finished product of one, although so simple, it's the simple things that kind of set the tone for what kind of work you do. And they said, "Oh, these are really nice for what they are, because they're just small pieces of oak with a laser engraving on them." So they like those. My shadow box that I made and finished, it got delivered, and the new boxes I got from Uline are pretty solid. They're the 36 by 24 by 6. Plenty of room top and bottom because the thickness of the box at 6 inches is perfect for padding on top and bottom. Most shadow boxes aren't anything more than 4 inches. If it is, that means they're putting like berets or something in there.
The thickness,
thickness is key.
Correlates directly with the size of the box.
Yes, of course. So that made it there. Yeah, I know. It's like, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, everything goes in the circle hole. This is true. Very, very true, Sam. So So that made it there. The other job that I had to rush on that they needed by this Friday, I mailed it yesterday. Luckily, UPS was still open, so that'll get there just in time, which is pretty awesome. And then I got 2 of those replica B11 plaques, one of which is for that one person I was just talking about earlier, and then another for a chief that's leaving. And then I got a couple of odds and ends. I got another order for one of those spinners. I don't know if I talked about it last time, but I'm doing a spinner.
Tell us more about the spinners.
No, I'm good. And that's really kind of it as far as projects. I will say that Cyclone, my Cyclone CNC, will be here next week, midweek, I was told, which is pretty awesome. He said he's just finishing up the final things, and it'll be delivered in one of those Cyclone CNC boxes instead of a crate. So I'll have the combo crate / table for it. I'm looking forward to putting that together. It won't be put together next week when I get it. It'll probably be the following week when I get a little time, just because a lot of my jobs that I have for this month are due, you would guess it, the 15th of June. So I'm going to be pretty busy this weekend. Yeah.
What day is the 15th? Is that Thursday or Friday?
It's a Thursday.
Yeah,
because Juneteenth is the 16th.
I have a ton due on the 16th, man.
It's crazy, but it's fine. It is.
I don't have anything. I'm free.
Yeah, you shut your mouth, Josh. Enjoy your time. Enjoy your time off, because once you get
people keep saying that,
be busy.
But I am not. I need wood. I need some hardwood in my life.
I bet you do. What about your lathe? We'll talk about your stuff here shortly. I'm sure you found something to turn on that lathe, but yeah, the cycle will be here next week. I'm still waiting for my air-cooled spindle. I know Daniel's got like a bajillion freaking orders, so I know he's been trying to fulfill a bunch. So I'll get that when I get it. So I'll probably set everything up until the spindle, which is fine. I'm in really no hurry, but Stan's going to help me put together a file so I can kind of get used to using the machine. He's going to help me piece together my first job that's going on that, which is your 30 millimeter bullet. So that'll be neat to get that put together. I do have a huge acrylic job, 24 by 24 patch. I got my 1/4 inch black acrylic from Maker Stock.
How big is your starting acrylic?
What's that?
How big is your starting stock? 24 by 24?
You're talking about the sheet?
Mm-hmm.
24 by 24, because the overall of the backer will be 24, right, but the inside will be like 22.
All right. So, hey, just a heads up, and I ran into this issue before. So if you're going to make a piece actually go 24 by 24, make sure before you start, obviously you're going to run a trace, right, to see.
Yeah.
But I ran into an issue where it was like 23.875. So I was like, fuck, man. Like, this thing is like a C hair off like what the dimensions it's supposed to be. And I didn't cut it. I pulled it straight out of the box when I went to go put it on. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, it's good. It's 24, right? And I ran the trace. I'm like, why can't I get it in bounds? That's why. So.
Well, luckily for me, Nick, and I'm actually kind of taking a page out of AJ's book. So he does a lot of his stuff. And I think even Josh does this. And Nick, I'm not sure about you, homie, but I start from the middle on those big jobs because it'll give me an accurate representation, but also because it's an inch, border on the wood, because it's going to be a cherry backer, 24 by 24 off the CNC. So the actual shape will be 23. So luckily, I won't run into the problem that you had when it was just like that C hair off, like you were saying. Hopefully.
Well, it was the dimension from the factory. It wasn't nothing I could do about it. I had to reduce the size of the file to make it fit inside the usable acrylic. And talk about, like, I was like, what, did I do something wrong? Like, are my measurements off? And then I measured the acrylic. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. It's only 23 and like 7/8. Yeah.
Well, it happens, I guess. But yeah, it's a good point, though. Make sure you do. If you aren't in the habit, anytime before you run a laser job, and this could be a mini tip without a video, always frame your job. And if you're doing a circle, don't do the triangle frame. Do the circle frame, because it'll actually give you an accurate representation of where all of the borders will actually be on your piece.
Yeah.
But there's that acrylic job. I got the 1/4 inch for all of the black. pieces. So that'll be the outline, the letters, and a couple within the actual piece itself. And the rest will be 1/8 inch colored acrylic. So it'll have a little depth to it, but I didn't want to go crazy and sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to make this one like 3/16 and all this other stuff. Like, no, I just went 1/4 inch for black, everything else 1/8 inch. It'll look great, I'm sure. And if I do change my mind, I can always stack some of the 1/8 inch acrylic, which I've seen Nick do for a couple pieces. So that could work as well. And if I feel froggy, I could always get 16th from Menards, and just put a little shim under each piece. It's not, too hard to do.
I've actually before made signs that I had to piece together the back piece with and hid the seam underneath the layer.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
I mean, there was small areas that were visible, but like if it's black, if it's the same color matte black, you can't tell.
No.
Yeah.
Unless the light hits it perfectly,
And that's the beautiful thing about certain jobs is like, unless you look at it just right, you're not going to notice some of the minor,
honestly,
if you will.
I think beyond that, if you don't know what to look for, because mind you, if you're not doing this kind of stuff and like if you're not used to, putting stuff together, the common person may not notice it at all due to the fact that why would they look for it if it's not there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then, so have you guys ever like in the middle of a job, and Nick, you might have done this because I've seen you do a couple times at some of your jobs. When you're doing a piece and they want a plaque on the piece, you're like, yeah, that's not going to look great. So you end up making like a little hanger deal on the bottom of the piece and then putting the.
I did that too.
Yeah,
Robert Gaylor NCOA patch.
Yeah, it was one. It was,
no, I made a different one out of acrylic,
okay.
And I ended up doing it. I just did it last night. So
that's funny.
But
I got to do that for this one.
I got to tell you, man, that, like ever since that job, they're like, yeah, bro, we want the hanger on the patch. Huh. And they're like, it's not going to cause problems, is it? I'm like, no, this is just me.
No, not at all. Like it's just a small extra step you got to take. That's it.
I know, but they were referring to that whole senior was referring to that whole thing with you and the piece you made, and I made the hanger for it. I was like,
oh, I'm sure he's busting balls, and that's fine. He can bust all the balls that he wants. He knew what he did. But yeah, so that's I got to do that for this one piece, which I don't know who's got the tip of the night, but I could do one tonight if you guys want. It's actually
we got to hit on the tip from that question we got from last week.
Perfect. And we'll talk. We can talk, and we can refresh once we get to that part, of course.
So whoever wants to take that tip.
What tip?
And just to remind me, what was it on again?
We'll get to it once we go through our shops. That way I can look it up and remember.
Thanks. And then just, I got this thing. Just let me know. I know. Yeah. We came prepared today, folks. Let me tell you.
I don't want to hear it, Mr. I slide in last minute.
Yeah, you're right. But hey, off the work topic, hey, I caught a 36-inch pike this past weekend. That was freaking cool. That was. I got 3.5 pounds of meat off of it. I got 2 bags in the freezer. Wife made fish tacos last night. Let me tell you, pike prepared right tastes amazing.
Key word there is prepared right. Yeah,
there's that. I need a flay knife. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So she deboned after she cooked everything. So that was cool. Yeah. I got to get me what's it called, flay knife, a better knife, because I'm thinking, oh yeah, this knife's sharp as hell. Not for fish. The same. Fish are different. And then I got to get what is it called, a shucking knife to take the scales off. I'm sitting there with this sharp knife, and I'm like, come on, as I'm getting rid of the scales off the meat. That was a pain in the rear. But that was my first large fish I've ever caught, so that was pretty cool.
Nice. Congrats, man.
Appreciate it. I'm taking the kid out Saturday morning.
Was it a fighter?
Well, wife and kid. We're going to take him. I'm taking him out fishing early in the morning, and then, see if we catch anything.
Was the fish a fighter, or was it an easy catch?
Okay, so when I initially caught him, it was like 5 minutes of fight, and I had him in the gill plate, so he wouldn't get rid of the hook. Like, he swallowed the hook, it went in and out his gill and hooked his gill. And what's crazy, it was only a 10-pound test. I'm surprised he didn't snap that line. But I ended up so I was off a bridge at the same time. So after I caught him, I had to drag him to the bank because I wasn't picking that 10-pound sucker out of the water from 15, 20 feet in the air. He definitely would have snapped it. So But yeah. No, the lakes are still frozen, Heather. How dare you? It's not cold right now. It's actually like 100 degrees right now. But they're a fun catch. They are fighters. The little ones, the big he fought for a minute, man, but it was more of a struggle pulling his ass to the bank. That's really where I struggled because, well, he tried to snap the line, so they got a lot of teeth, and I had no leader, so it was just regular fish line. So there was that. But yeah, it was cool, and I can't wait to take Zane out this weekend because he was mad I didn't take him this past weekend. Sorry, buddy.
Oh,
not sorry.
Getting kids to fish are the best things in the world, man. Watching them reel up and get all excited.
Well, he had a Spider-Man fishing pole. He was like, "Daddy, we go fishing?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm sorry, I already went. We can go Saturday." He goes, "Oh." I'm like, "Oh, I feel like such an ass." But yeah, that's my weekend. What's going on in the shop? Hey, Josh, what's going on in your hotel room, bud?
Hey, this is where I'm living. This is my home for now. Yeah, so I'm in Texas. I'm staying in my my lovely hotel here at Stavebridge Suites near SeaWorld.
Hi, Victor.
What's up, Victor?
Anyway, Nap, they're in our chat here in Riverside. You will find the answer you're looking for regarding that question.
Hey, you've got 3 notifications. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, hey, you got mail, essentially. So now I'm returning. So it's been interesting. Obviously, it was like a 26-hour, 27-hour drive down here. Stopped a couple times through some states. Got to drive through Little Rock, Arkansas. I was actually stationed there with my wife. And so it was kind of interesting seeing some of the sites, that I'm accustomed to when I was there. And then, obviously it's not my first time coming into Texas. So it's just weird being here. Didn't think I'd be here doing this again, but I am, and I'm pretty excited about it. Missing the family. Hopefully they're missing me. I'm sure they are. But, today I start class tomorrow, which I'll be in class already if you're hearing this on the other side here. But I went to both Woodcraft and Rockler. Woodcraft, I talked to a nice gentleman there, King. We were talking about the lathe. We're talking about hand carving, turning pens and blanks. And, they have nothing going on today. Wasn't trying to rush around and do anything. So I actually got to have some pretty good conversation with the gentleman. And I actually picked up some stuff to keep me busy here, something on the woodworking realm. And for those of you that are Patreons, you get to see my nice chunk of hardwood. So I got some maple, so I could go ahead and turn a mallet.
I like it.
It's beautiful. It has some gorgeous grain structure in it, and we're going to see how well that goes. If I don't show this again, then it went poorly. But yeah, we got that going on. And then I figured what's something I could do that's, I'm not going to have to go outside for / I could do within the room, not cause a whole bunch of dust or anything crazy. So I got a spoon carving kit. So I can go ahead and cut my other thumb, and that way I could be even on both sides. Now I got smart, and I got a glove, and I got some thumb condoms to help with that.
What about the lathe?
That's what this trunk of wood's for. Is for the lathe. The lathe is in the truck. I have everything in there that I need. I just plug it into the suction cord, goes into the truck, and then I can go ahead and turn right in the back. So
would you ever bring Would you bring it in and set it on the desk in the office or in the hotel room?
Oh, absolutely, because I want to have all the shavings in the world where I live, and then the dust as well.
Like ribbons, man.
You're right, but I really don't think that anyone in the hotel is going to want to listen to me turn. So, wife's comment. If you could only see my face right now. My thumb is feeling nice. I got the stitches out just before I left. I think I might have hit on this already, but what is it? The 6th? No, probably not. Stitches are out. Everything's good. It's healing up a little bit. I rarely see it now. I'll have a nasty scar there, but it is what it is. the carving kit, I was kind of iffy about that due to that, but it is, like I said, what it is. I wanted to learn how to hand carve sometime, and the kit was there and interesting. It comes with a carving knife for general carving and then the spoon carving. So I can go ahead and if I could bum some scraps off of Nick that he doesn't want, I can do some spoon blinks and just learn a little different.
But you're better off. Here's what you're better off doing: getting wet wood to carve spoon blanks. Because this hard kiln dried like hardwood is so freaking hard. So if I'm just saying, like, you should have gotten but Ducky. He could have hooked you up with some of that mesquite that was not kiln dried yet.
Well, in my time here, I do plan on trying to go visit him. I actually met him today in Rockler. Apparently, I parked right next to him, or he parked right next to me, and he came up to me and was like, "Hey, you should be looking at mesquite." Now, I think I was looking at Purple Heart because I was just curious on the prices, what they were charging. And I didn't recognize him right away. He called me out for it, and then we started talking. And I'm going to try to see him. I'll try to see Joey, maybe Nick when I'm here, Voltner, Stan, basically anyone that's interested. So, but
you gonna drive to
perfect,
Houston?
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to be here during some of the holidays, and if people are sticking around and don't mind me showing up at the door, why not? So. Do that, meet up with people. It's an opportunity I don't want to waste. There's a lot of great people here in Texas that I've been talking to for a long time, and it'd be nice to see them in person and say hi, have a lunch with, or just check out the shop. I miss my shop. I miss obviously my family, but I miss doing things in the shop and projects like that. It's just one of those things I've been doing for so long. I really enjoy doing, and not being able to do it. It's different. It is what it is, though. I should be busy with this. I mean, this hand carving spoon thing, I'll probably take me the entire time to figure that out. But yeah, that's about it, though.
Hey, Josh.
What's up?
What's crazy is you're moving to go to a whole new job. We had a maker that I was with in San Antonio. If you remember Greg from Hiltz Builds.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
He's moving. He's done. He's retiring. He's on his way to Ohio. He's literally doing the same thing you were just doing. He's packing up his shop. He had just got it all set up, and it feels like he was just getting set up, and now he's repacking up and he's shipping out.
I took a couple of referrals from him because there was nobody else.
Yeah.
Like literally,
yeah.
I gotta tell you, Coffee from Coffee Custom Build, gone.
Yep.
Obviously, Knapp's gone. John Davis, gone. There's another dude named Ryan O'Toole, gone. He's just leaving. So
what about Mr. Thames?
Thames
He's still there.
Still here, but Mr. Thames, I try to push him some work too. But like for people who want local stuff, it's like I don't know who else, man. It's me and Mr. Thames. We're just holding it down. So it's the pickings are getting.
Stay in San Antonio.
The pickings are getting slim for woodworkers in San Antonio. At least ones that you can get quality stuff on.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, you're still there, but
yeah,
that's crazy.
So
I just thought it was crazy.
And
everyone's moving.
I want to recommend other people, but I'm running bingo on people to recommend.
Hey man, I ship. Just saying.
Yeah, I know. I still refer you guys, but they're like, I want something local. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's typical. I mean, I figured that's kind of what the case would be. I did get some hat presses though. I did send a hat press out, and dude loved it. And I got another order for one of those, so I guess I'll keep making hat presses. Josh, you're right. Shut up.
You know what you should do now? Just list those hat presses on your Etsy page.
No.
Why not?
Because no.
Just come up with a standard for them, man. Standard hat press. Charge I don't know how much you charge now, but charge more.
$3 million.
$3 million.
No, dude, I guarantee people will buy it. And you can put whatever logo on there, so it doesn't just have to be an Air Force hat.
That's true. We'll see.
Yeah.
You need like Army drill.
I mean, you can do it for other branches.
Yeah.
As Nick was literally just saying as I said that.
I am setting a new standard for hat presses as far as what I can put on them. Mm-hmm. After I put that 3D piece on there, that apparently gained some attention, if you will.
Yeah,
so
dude.
maybe
How long did that take?
Not long. The 3D piece of that only took 25 minutes to do.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it turned out great, man.
Sorry, Josh. I didn't mean to railroad.
No, man. Great conversation. It's good to know. The more people, I hate to say this, the more people that are moving with shops, the better it is for the community, right? So we kind of get some intel for how people are going about doing it and stuff like that. My plan has changed like 4 times. I now have a plan at least that is scheduled and everything should be working just fine. But it has changed dramatically from my original. Hopefully that helps someone out there. If you're military or you're just moving in general and you have a shop, it's good to know what other people have done. That way you can do something similar or customize it to yourself. So, yeah, I might get a hold of them and just be like, hey, what are you doing? What can I do to make my life easier based on what you've done so far? But one other announcement is while I'm here next week on the 14th, I'll be joining the Creative Maker podcast and be a guest on there. It'd be fun to jump on there. I've been listening to their episodes as they come out weekly, and it's going to be a bunch of great people. So I'll be jumping on there and doing that with them. I'm actually pretty excited about that one. They're doing a great job, so I can't wait to see what kind of shenanigans happens with that. But other than that, school, the lathe, hand carving, the Creative Maker podcast, and then helping Nick put together his Avid CNC if he lets me into the door. I've been standing outside his home for hours. He never acknowledged me, so I just, set up a tent. But with that, that's all I'm up to. Just trying to keep busy. I will share this with people out there. I'm trying to get a little healthier when I'm here as well, eating healthier, working out, such as life is there. I got the time, no distractions when it comes to that. So that is something that I'm working toward. But that's it. That wraps up everything in not my shop. Can I even say shop or hotel room? Anyway, with that, let's go ahead and pass it over to Nick and see what's happening in his shop.
Dude, my shop is a mess, man. It's so dirty. So dirty.
That's a good start.
Get closer to your mic, man. I want to hear you breathe a little bit more.
It's so dirty in my shop. It's just overwhelming.
He's gone.
He's on my screen.
Where'd he go?
Oh no. Well, Josh, at least you're in a hotel with your Beat Laboratory.
Yeah, I got a whole complete setup. My wife gave me an accessible screen for Christmas, right? And that is coming in handy. So I was able to have that extra screen, which is just perfect. It's almost like sheet laptop setup like I normally do. I have my hub, which has everything plugged in, and everything plugged in. I knew that this was going to happen, and that's what I'm doing. Now, let's talk about your little your 120 degree little bit that has great detail, but just not that deep.
You shut the hell up.
I saw that, and I'm like, we're just talking about Nap's little bit.
You're stable now. You can go on with your shop, bud. It's dirty. It's a wreck.
Yeah, it's a wreck. I've just been going job after job after job with zero time to clean. And it's becoming a problem where I have to actually take some time to clean it. So what I'm doing is I am taking August off.
Now, okay,
no
Nick,
way.
I gotta ask, man. Listen, I've heard this somewhere. It might have been me.
You said you did that.
And I did.
I'm taking time off, man.
But really, are you really going to take time off, man?
Yeah, I'm taking August off from production, and I'm going to reset the entire shop, restock all the the sandpaper and everything. I mean, I have sandpaper and stuff, but just like replenish everything and not spend time in the shop as much as I would. Like, dude, I've been going to bed at like 1:00 in the morning every night, waking up at 5:30 and going to work in the morning. So it's been a real, I don't want to say a burden because I do love doing it, but it's been a real busy time for me, more so than I've had before, just because of everybody who's been leaving. And I get, so like I'm getting people who I've never even heard of before. I've never met before because woodworkers are leaving the area and recommending other people, and other people are recommending me. So it's like, I don't.
It's good though. I mean,
and the problem, it is good. If I was full time, it would be fantastic. But you know what the issue is though is I don't have the bandwidth to do that. And all these people want local made stuff. They don't want to send away for something. They don't want something from like Texas Trophies or one of the trophy shops. They want something customized. And so that's what I've been doing.
You know what that comes down to, Nick? And this is kind of a sidebar, but one thing I've noticed about a lot of folks, and I'm experiencing it here, it seems that some folks just don't respect others' time sometimes. Like they forget that we are full-time military, you know?
Yeah, I get it. And I remind people that too, because it's like, hey, look, I have a couple orders that are going on like 3 or 4 months now, where it was like, hey, anytime, like when you can get it to me, right? And I'm telling these people like, hey, look, I have deadlines here for larger orders. And like, not that your order's on the back burner, but it's going to get made. I hate making people wait for stuff that long, you know? Most of my orders though, once somebody places the order, it's like anywhere from 2 to 3 months out from when it's due. I'm like, hey guy, if you want a shadow box, you got to let me know at least 90 days in advance, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to help you. That, and if you don't pay me on the invoice, I'll let you, like I tell them like, hey, I send you the invoice. If you don't at least put down half for the shadow box, then your spot's not safe.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did the same. Like, if you're not going to pay me something, I'm not going to put you in the queue.
And it's nothing against these people, but it's just honestly like I've had to where I need to maximize every waking minute when I'm at the house. So I schedule and I account for fuck ups or remakes. You know what I mean? I usually have like 1 day a week where I don't have anything going on, and that's for the time I will use to, if I have to recut a plaque or, which isn't very often, but there's always something that somebody else wants that's like an add-on for something else. You know what I mean? So, and if I'm falling behind on a project from the week prior, I'll just go ahead and use that time to fix it. But that being said, I also take a night where I don't do anything in the shop. So I have to like recharge the batteries at least once a week, because going to bed at 1:00 in the morning, waking up at 5:30 is no bueno, man. But I've been doing that for a while now. But I'm working on a giant 3/22 acrylic logo.
Nice.
With a big old eagle and the commander's badge on it. So it's going to look pretty dope.
Eagle!
I don't know if you've seen the 737 training wing badge I did. Yeah. It's a patch. I did it on my, it's on my Instagram. But it's going to look, the commander's badge is going to be on that as well. So the commander's badge is the silver and mirrored acrylic logo on there.
Okay.
And then I have an MTI bookends. You seen those? So they cut hat in half.
Ooh.
And well, actually, I think they quartered the hat. No, they either cut it in half or quartered it, and they put one half on each side, cool. And it's like these L's, but it's walnut and cherry wood finger jointed in a 90-degree angle.
That's pretty creative, actually. That's. I just wonder
I have to see it. how they do it.
I know what he's I know what he's saying. It's pretty much just like a bookshelf looking deal, but with a hat on.
Yeah, I know what it is. I know, like, I have a visual, but I would need to see a finished piece, so that I could. I don't know. 'Cause to me, that doesn't sound too appetizing. But personal preference.
Anyhow, that's pretty much it. I'm busy. Like when I get off here, I'm going to go out in the garage and cut some more acrylic. So
yeah,
it is what it is until it ain't.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was the thing we got to address or talk about that you were talking about there, Josh?
Oh, well, our tip of the week or whatever. So let me go ahead and I gave Nap the verbiage. I'll go ahead and pull up the rest of it here. Just stand by while I stall and do that. So Ethan reached out to us a week or two ago asking about dirty files, and because we were talking about how to trace it on Lightburn, and we mentioned how some files are dirty and somehow sometimes we have to clean them up before we do the tracing or work on them. And because of that, he had a question about what are dirty files. And I believe I'm throwing this into Nap's realm. Nap's going to show us a couple different file types and what we refer to as dirty, which is a bad image that we have to clean up, and maybe some techniques that go along with that to help us get to the end goal, which is the trace, so we can do a better product at the end. Nap as well. When I was talking to Ducky today at Rockler, he did mention a problem he's having in Lightburn, and I think we can go ahead and hit on both these tips while you're going and explaining as well. And that's essentially when you're cleaning up an image, say that you have a line that extends past the image and you need to cut that line. In Aspire, you can go ahead and click on the scissors and just cut the line and you're good to go. Lightburn's a little different. There are different ways to go about cutting that line from your lined image. And I was trying to explain it to him, but it's kind of hard to do when you're talking verbally. But actually showing someone is a little bit different. So that I think I know for a fact you probably know how to do that. If you can go ahead and just hit on that on the tail end, and then we can go ahead and talk about another quick topic I'd like to get into.
Okay. All right. So there are two types of files. Yeah, I'll say this. So there are two types of files, right? You got dirty file and non-dirty file.
Oh, dirty files, man.
So I'm actually going to show you a clean file first, just so I have an accurate representation. And then I'll show you another file that I actually was not too successful tracing because it just was not a good image. So first and foremost, before you ever take on a job, and they're going to send you logos, okay, make sure it's like the highest resolution possible. And the reason why is it makes it easier for a trace, but also you won't get what we call a dirty file. So the first file I'm going to show you is actually a clean file, and I'm going to go ahead and how I typically fix this is not always going to be in Lightburn. So I actually take this to Photoshop and I'll actually enhance some of the settings, but you don't always have to do that because Photoshop is a program you got to pay for, and not everyone's going to pay the extra money just to have a program to edit files.
A lot of different ways to get a dirty image to where you need it so you can trace it. You know, it really depends on what programs you want to buy, like Nick or Nap was saying with Photoshop. There's other ones you can do on your iPad, and you can actually draw out the lines. But there's also where I was talking about one of the tips I did is the multiple tracing and then deleting and combining those files. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve. Or you can just, I'll source it to myself or someone else that does that kind of stuff and, get it done for you. It really depends on how much time you want to learn. So
on that, you can do something else if you don't want to get Photoshop or anything like that. You can actually do what's called adjust image, which is just below the trace setting when you right click on the image, and you'll get a file or something that looks like this, which is not there. There it is. So you get a screen that looks like this. This is limited to contrast, brightness, and gamma. Okay, so for folks that don't know, so your contrast obviously is your light versus dark. Okay, you notice how the image is going darker or lighter. Typically, if you bring the contrast up, you can typically get better lines to trace because the reason why this is so dirty and why you don't get a lot of good tracing is because of all the extra pixelated colors or grays that are in there. So I can do this typically, and I can get a better trace. You got brightness, which will obviously brighten your image or darken it even more. And then you got gamma. Gamma is actually your grays. Okay, so that actually enhances or takes away your grays. So I typically will go full gray. I'll mess with some of like the brightness. You see how like a lot of the details in the actual toad and the missile there, they're actually kind of going away, making it a little, and I'll probably go like, we'll say like right about here. To me, that's enough detail for you to make out what the image is going to be. And I'll have it set to Jarvis dither. Now this takes a lot of playing around with. Okay, this is a more advanced thing. So for those watching, you're like, well, what the hell? I don't really know what that is or how I would use this. But if you're watching and you're more advanced user and you want to do something like grayscale or Jarvis dithering or getting an image to go completely onto something that's not a vector, this is what you would do. So a tip for things like this are that when you get your image to the desired look that you like, you go to your image settings. The first things first is that you're set to image mode here. Okay, that's going to be Jarvis. There's many more on here. They're all used for different things. Jarvis is the same thing as a dither. Okay, it's just a little more detailed. To me, it's more detailed. Okay, in the Jarvis divot. So I normally select that one. Now, most folks will say or think that to get the white or the very light area, you would set your power, your lowest power to, let's say, 0, which means that's the lowest setting that your laser is going to engrave. Don't set it to 0. The reason why 0 is not good is because then you're going to get everything super dark and it's not going to come out the way you want. The 0 should be set to the lowest setting that your laser turns on. So for me, and Josh, you're shaking your head yes, because you've done this a lot with your plane schematics, which is really, really good. You set, for me, on my laser, it's 7.5. So my laser will turn on at the lowest setting at 7.5, which is like nothing, but it turns on. And then you'll set it to a max power. And Nick, we're not going to use your max power settings because you will get a black image. But your max setting should be something that gives you a desirable engraving. Okay. So for me, a desirable engraving in this case would be 21 to 25%. And then when you do that, I'm going to grab something real quick. I did this with another image. You'll get something like this. All the lights, the darks, the grays, all the things came out in a very clean image on cherry. So cherry is actually a harder wood to engrave on because when you finish it, it actually darkens up and can hide some of your details. I've had it happen on other projects. But again, that goes based on your settings and how you set it up, what kind of tests you run through, and those things. Josh is pretty good with Jarvis dither. I would call myself amateur at it. I've been getting a little better with it as I go, enough to where I'm comfortable sending things out. But if you are interested in doing photos or anything like that, Jarvis dither is a good start. If you want a true grayscale, though, I'm going to tell you what, I haven't nailed a true grayscale because that's actually extremely hard to do. Grayscales are actually good with diode lasers, believe it or not.
Yeah, they are very good with them
because it's not as powerful and it's not as exaggerated with like the certain shades of grays or blacks and whatnot. But that's how that works with Jarvis dither and maybe putting just an image on wood. Now, getting into what Ducky was saying. Okay, I know we're going a little fast here, and if you got questions, you reach out and we can give you more tips and pointers on this stuff. But those are like first tip. Thank you for the suggestions, Ethan. And then obviously went into a little bit of Jarvis dither there. We could probably do a bigger segment on that, I'm sure, if people have questions on it. Which, Josh, I know you're more well-versed in that area, so maybe you can take that next time if you want to go into that.
Well, I'm hoping we can get into other tips for the shop. That way we can come back, maybe do Lightburn every couple months and then head into some other stuff because not everyone out there has a laser / CNC or need the files. And I want to make sure we hit broad base when it comes to the tips so everyone can get a piece. But real quick, we had some comments. Next week, Victor would like us to hit on a class replacing laser lenses. I know he's in the works of getting his laser up to speed. And then Sam was talking about he likes Lightburn, but finds that V-Carve is much more user-friendly to him. It's user preference. We use Lightburn because, I think we use our lasers a lot more, and it's already in the program that we need. And at that point in time, it just, for us, makes sense. We push Lightburn a lot because if you have a laser, that's what you should be using. It's the easiest, best program out there, in my opinion. And, we're just trying to hit the broad stroke with that and make sure the most people out there can take benefit.
Trying to stroke it broad.
Exactly. Playing on the laser topic that we are ending the episode on, I did have a quick question for you. We kind of talked about this during the live as well, but I would like to go ahead and wrap it into this episode. So my laser's not that old. Nick's is not that old. Nap, your laser is a little bit more far along than ours. But how do you plan for laser tube failure? What is your game plan? Do you have funds set aside for it? Is it in your cart ready to go? Are you going to, I know the answer to this, but are you going to buy one ahead of time? I just want to know your opinions, and so we could talk about it. So it's not something that's talked about. We push lasers here, like, hey, buy a laser, buy a laser, buy a laser. But there are certain things on the lasers that eventually go. And I don't think we've talked about in a long time, we hit on it once, about laser tubes and basically our plan for when they do go. Because they are pretty centralized in their shop.
Okay. So, I had to look this up because I actually didn't know the answer to the typical laser tube life. So most laser tubes are 2 to 3 years. Or as I'm looking here, it says 1,000 to 10,000 hours. Okay. Now, mind you, actually, I can tell you right now how long my laser tube's been used. Let's see. Laser tools. Let's see. There's a spot on here that'll actually tell you how long your laser has been used. And I just got to find it real quick.
How long have you been using your tube?
That's what I'm about to look at. Let's see. I know I'm getting up there. I've used it for quite some time. Let's see, I think it's actually in Get Control. Oh, there it is. Get Controller info. Oh, actually, my laser's off. Okay, so there's a spot in there where you can find out how many hours you've used it. I think I'm somewhere in like 5,000 to 6,000 hours on my laser tube. I will say that it's all dependent on how you use your laser tube, first and foremost. I don't push mine quite as heavily as maybe, say, Nick does. And I know Josh, he's kind of like happy medium. I'm very conservative.
So not to jump in on your little piece here, but it goes Nap being conservative. I'm like the happy medium. I'm the middle. And then there's Nick, which I have learned that Nick has actually gone down in his laser power usage. So
I don't really go above 55%.
You said 50 in the live.
Even for cutting. 50, 55, somewhere
50,
in there.
70, 100. It's all the same.
No, I mean, like when I first got the thing, I wanted let's see what I can cut.
And then you set it on fire.
You know? And then I set it on fire. Ruined my touch probe and everything with it. So, now I do.
Yeah, I don't use my touch probe much.
To finish off what Josh was asking, no, I don't have my tube in the cart. What would happen if my laser went dead? So first and foremost, tubes don't typically go dead unless you abuse them. If you don't have water temperature set right, if you don't
freeze,
if you use too high a power all the time, okay, it all depends on your job. So Nick actually runs his at a speed that his power would match. That's why Nick uses a higher power. He uses fast speed, so he uses higher power. Now, anybody using higher power will degrade their laser a little bit faster than, let's say, myself or Josh, and that's okay. That's your way of using it. But if you're conservative, you probably say you can add another 25 to 50% life to your laser tube, which is why I'm not too concerned right now. But if I needed to order it, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd be down for at least a week. Unless you got it from like Cloud Ray or something. Like you can get a tube from really anywhere. But I would say if you know you've had your laser, like myself, for 3, almost 4 years, going on for soon. I may buy a tube sooner than later. But historically, your power supply is going to go before your tube. I have power supply on the ready because this will go, this little black box right here is going to go before your tube's going to go.
You kind of beat me to the punch on that.
Yeah, because I don't know. But I have a power supply just in case. But if the power supply is not the issue, well, then I guess I'm SOL and have to order a tube. Tubes are like $300-$400. Well, for me it is. For Nick, it's going to be a hell of a lot more because he has a higher power laser.
Yeah,
$995.
So there you go. There you have it.
But the return on investment
is
way more than that. So you're going to so the amount of projects I can do on one tube life is freaking ridiculous. So, and
as long as you're not running it, and this is a rule of thumb for folks, Nick runs it probably right at where you should run it. Honestly, if you're going to go high power, there's really no reason for you to go even anywhere near 100%. Because if you're there, that means you're not aligned, and there's something wrong with your setup.
Unless you're trying to cut through somebody.
Yeah, and I don't think any of us are trying to do that. But yeah.
I'll Darth Vader their hand right off.
That was a good echo. I like that. But no, Josh, I don't have a laser tube on the ready. If my laser were to go right now and the tube were done, I'd be host.
We're getting feedback.
It's from Josh because his headphones died. But yeah, so that's my answer to that. That's all I got to say about that.
I would never buy a tube just to stock because they have shelf lives. All right. Take care of yourselves and each other. And until next time, this is Sawdust Nation signing out.
You tried to get rid of me. I'm back.
Okay, bye. Have a nice time. See you later.
All right. Take care of yourselves and each other. And until next time, this is Sawdust Nation signing out. Everybody have a great week.
No. I have questions. Power supply was going to be my next question when it came down to the laser stuff. Was essentially, would you buy a power supply with the tube just to be safe? Nap kind of hit on that quickly. So way to go. But if you didn't buy the power supply when your tube went, would you consider buying one in addition?
Power supply, yeah. I mean, I would have one. If you've had your laser for a number of years, I'd have one just on standby. I happen to get mine second market, so it wasn't as expensive possibly, but I know they can't be any more than a couple $100. So,
yeah. And then we heard Nick's reply when it came to the question. And for me personally, yeah, I put some money away, essentially a little bit off each project. So the $550 shouldn't hit that bad when it does happen. But hopefully in a long time coming, and as long as you're being smart with it, you should be good to go. Yeah, let's close down this podcast before something else happens, huh?
Yeah, all right. Hey, folks, so like always, keep bringing in those questions because we're more than happy to help, especially if it's stuff we can show on the podcast. We can go ahead and put that on the Instagram. Keep taking care of each other. Keep helping the community. Other than that, until next time. Nick, I think you gave your sign off like 4 times.
Yeah, I was trying to make it sound like we were leaving when Josh was coming back. So, but like always, take care of yourselves and each other. And if you got any questions, feel free to reach out to Nap. We'll catch you guys next week. Josh?
Hey, thank you for listening to the 154th episode. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but that's part of podcasting or anything else. With that, hopefully you enjoyed the tips that we showed you. If you haven't seen them and you're hearing this, you can go ahead and jump on our Instagram page and take a look at those videos. That should help you along. In addition to that, thank you to our Patreons and to our main sponsor, PWNCNC, which we wouldn't be here without them. So get in the shop, make some sawdust, and have a great week. Sawdust Nation Podcast out.
Bye.
All righty.
Yeah, Victor.
Take care.
Etsy's a good place. That's typically where I'll get vectors if I'm in a pinch and I just don't feel like tracing anything. But images on Google tracing, that's where you get the dirty files typically. So this information I just learned the medical term for Viagra.
It's my cock's a flopping.
Oh my God. All right, Nick, calm down.